My name is Richard Peck. I'm the International Director from Region 9, and I welcome you to this afternoon's education session and give you a round of applause for being here. Our presenter this afternoon delivers motivational presentations and training seminars for major organizations, and he coaches corporate executives on presentation skills. Douglas Kruger, who is from Johannesburg, South Africa, has been recognized for his speaking success with Toastmasters. He has won his district's international speech contest 5 times. And he placed second in the 2004 World Championship of Public Speaking. Douglas has written 3 books related to public speaking, expert positioning, and leadership. His presentation today relates to his newest book, Own Your Industry: How to Position Yourself as an Expert. Douglas will explain how each of us can position ourselves as thought leaders in our own industry. He'll share simple but powerful strategies that will help us gain valuable visibility and clients. We can't wait to hear what he has to say. Please join me in welcoming Advanced Toastmaster Silver, Douglas Kruger.
It's late at night and you walk out into the parking lot. Everyone else has already gone home. There's only one car to be seen, and it's smack in the middle of the parking lot underneath a single light. It's a 7 Series BMW, the big one. You reach into your pocket, you take out the keys and press the button, and it lights up like the Starship Enterprise. Now, because it's a German car, when you open the door, it makes that deeply satisfying whoosh noise. You get in and you're immediately ensconced in this world of leather and luxury and woods and soft touch surfaces, and as you start the ignition, something fascinating happens. By a wonder of German engineering, a heads-up display appears in front of you. It floats out in the darkness, just a series of numbers that give you the information that you need. Now, folks, what I'd like you to do is to imagine those numbers as you start to accelerate. They begin to climb, they're floating out in front of you. But instead of miles or kilometers an hour, what I'd like you to picture is those numbers adding up to your total income from the last calendar year. So, get that number in your mind. Picture it floating out in front of you. What would it do to your life, your business, and your reality if you were able to add an extra 0 to that number? And I don't mean on the right-hand side, I mean on the left. Think for a second about how it would change your sense of your ability to negotiate, how it would change the decisions you would make, how it would change the nature of customers that you choose to interact with, and the ones that you wouldn't interact with any longer. Experts always earn more. And in almost every industry, the top recognized names, the icons, the thought leaders, generally earn more than 10 times more than the average practitioners. And these experts are experts by design. It doesn't matter what industry they're a part of, whether you're climbing the corporate ladder or whether you're a cartoonist, whether you're a doctor or a sports star, in any industry around the world, there are always 1 or 2 names that will rise to the top. And these people are remunerated on a different level. So how do you position yourself as an expert on purpose? Folks, I'd like to show you just how powerful this idea can be. Now, what I'd like to do is to put a couple of industries on the screen, and they're industries that none of us are involved in here in the room today. And I'd like to see if we can get the top name in every single industry unanimously. Now, it's going to be an interesting test because we have people from all around the world with different cultural references. So let's see how well we do. No classroom order, no rules for this one. I just want you to shout out the first name that springs to mind when you hear horror writer. 0.25 of a second, and we all got the same name. Isn't that interesting? It's the man who did for clowns what Spielberg did for sharks. Stephen King, arguably the world's best-selling living writer today, and that's in spite of phenomena like J.K. Rowling and 50 Shades of Grey. This man has been doing it a lot longer. We think of Stephen King, and most of us who have read any of his books believe that his first novel was titled Carrie. It's the story of a prom queen who had a very bad night and then passed it on to everyone else. But in fact, it wasn't his first book, because he actually wrote his first novel under the pseudonym of Richard Bachman. Anyone here ever read a Bachman book? Yeah? His very first novel was called The Long Walk, and it was published under the name Richard Bachman. It sold 28,000 copies in the United States, which is not terribly much in terms of that market. Then, a few years later, people started to figure out that this Bachman guy sounded a lot like Stephen King, and he was outed. And Stephen King then describes Richard Bachman as dying of cancer of the pseudonym. After that, they relaunched the book under the name Stephen King, and in less time, it sold 280,000 copies. 10 times the sales, 10 times the income. Same man, same book, same story. The only thing that's changed is the name. Interesting. We're one for one. Let's try another one. What if I give